that. Do that. That. Okay. All right. Shalom. Sister Kate here. Good evening. Hey, Deborah Kessler. Shalom. See, 5 of you all. You guys do your thumbs up and do your greetings. There's Be Principled. There is Jesus. There is Deborah E. with greetings and so on. Yes, this is a reality in an off-grid place. I've got a light right here. Oh, it's hard for you guys to see it. It has new batteries in it, so it's kind of bright. We could use our solar LED light thing, but I didn't want it to be lit up that much because it is dark here now.
Mama Hens Roos said hello.
Hello. Hello, Brenda Hobbs. Shalom. Deborah H. Shalom. And
Patricia Wolf.
Patricia Wolf, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your prayers.
And Alicia Stelling.
Rick.
Elvin,
Hello, Elwin Mayer. Hey, Westhold Forge.
Westhold Forge.
Mrs. Lovely
Mrs.
Dudley.
Dudley. Norman
Shalom. Norm is up late.
Kimara Ahu.
Kimura Ahu. Hope we're pronouncing that correctly. So, I thought I would talk about the COVID, but I also wanted to start the show by opening a package because I got a package in the mail today. Which, hey, following Yeshua. Shalom, y'all. And Alton Chatham, good evening from Western North Carolina. Glad y'all are better. Lynn Wilkerson, shalom. Snowstorm here, so connection sucks. Pharma, I'm very sorry about that. Hope you feel as well as you seem. Yeah, I'm out of isolation. I've rested the whole time. Just on some days, all I did was the chores. I just fed the chickens and the ducks and used our 4-wheeler to go down and feed the goats. And we had bales of hay, so all I had to do was, take them over a couple of sheaves of hay and give them a little bit of grain.
And bring some firewood in.
And that's pretty much all I did. And I cooked, which...
And brought some firewood in.
Oh, and I brought some firewood in on some mornings.
That's all you did, though. Patrick Heinen.
Patrick Heinen. Hello, shalom. I've seen you guys' comments on my channel. I appreciate y'all commenting. I like that. There's Christine Taylor. Shalom. Southwest Missouri here. It's probably cold in your area, Patrick. David Campbell. Shalom. Yeah, so I thought I would open this package first because I've been waiting for it. And it came from a bonfire. Here we go. And it's in support of another person's channel. Hello, Paula Jo Davis. One of these days, I will open up one that has my logo and stuff from Sanctified Supply Company on it.
John Ray.
But this one, John Ray, evening, just had 2 more of my crew get the virus. Hey, how are they doing? Because you are in a different area, and the person that I know who is closer to you, look at me pointing with my scissors, already cut the package over, has had several family members get the virus, and their health it's serious. So how is your crew doing? All right, so here's what's in my package. Can you see it? There, Pastor Joe's helping me out. It's a hoodie. It's Biddy Boo. Biddy Boo's Farmstead hoodie. I saw her do a campaign, and I thought it was kind of cute. It says, Biddy Boo Homestead at YouTube. I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. And I thought that was a cute little hoodie, and I need new hoodies, as you know. Can you shine your light one more time, sweetie? There we go. I thought it was a cute little hoodie. You know, I've said I need hoodies, and so I ordered hers, and I like the color too. So there it is, one of my new hoodies.
Prepper.
North NWA Preppers on there. Shalom, brother. How cute, said the lamp keeper. Nice. Yeah, she did a nice job. So I thought I would support her because she's a good human being. She gave multiple goats to myself and people near and dear to me, and she didn't need to do that. And she's just a very generous, nice person. So I wanted to support her. And then I wanted to see what you all. My father-in-law had COVID pneumonia. He's been in the hospital since Monday. Hang on. I want to read these things. He was really bad. He's a little better, still on O2 there in Georgia. So some people say, very glad you're healthy, Sister Kate, and so on, and maybe the way you live and what you eat, which is not perfect. We eat, generally fresh made stuff, but it's not perfect. But we are outdoorsy, and I walk a quarter mile to a mile every day, taking care of my animals, and they think possibly that's why the virus that we had was so mild. And I'd like to think that's true, but I don't know for sure. And then we hear reports of people like Christine just said, and other people, and I think there's probably more than one. Thank you for your help today, following Yeshua. More than happy to give it. I want to feel like maybe we had a discussion like that before. They had goats giving birth, but I don't know if we did. And I'm not happy with the outcome, but I mean, there's not a lot we can do about it now. So I do feel bad about that. All right. Biddy didn't sell me a hoodie, says Wes S. Hey, welcome, Wes S. Thank you, moderator, for showing up. She didn't sell me a hoodie or buy me a hoodie or whatever. I bought her hoodie to support her channel. But anyway, wife's brother, 30, and his wife, 22, got it in Sacramento, California. He had moderate symptoms, developed pneumonia. His wife just had cold-like symptoms. So, yeah, is it that there's more than one strain and that some strains are milder and some are more serious? Because as a virus, it can mutate, and it seems like in the news, Los Angeles is just going nuts. Cedar Sinai Hospital is overwhelmed. Many people are dying. 3,000 people died out there in a week. Or is it your basic state of health? And, if you're a smoker, you have high blood pressure or diabetes, the mild version that I had is going to be harder for you than if it is for me. And I don't know the answer to that. Nice hoodie. Thank you, Andrea. Glad to see you're doing well. See you all next stream. Hopefully it won't be nasty here. Good night. All right, Pharma, take care. Brother Chris. Mom to grandma. Hello. That's the problem with this thing. No one really knows. And it kind of struck me the other day, Westhold Forge, because I was reading a story about the UK where they have said they do have a virulent strain, and it's in the south and I want to say east part of England, and they've had 1,000 new cases pop up.
Bless you.
And they're going to quarantine that part of the country. They're a little place, so maybe it's easier for them to figure out, to do the testing to figure out this strain is different. But why isn't America responding to that? Shouldn't somebody know if we've got more than one strain, shifting around? And I thought Fauci said there were two, a milder one and a serious. Huh?
Research takes time and money.
Yeah, that's what my daughter said. Research takes time and money, but we're America, for crying out. Somebody ought to be doing this research and letting us know. It is funny, says NWA Prepper. It is funny the two people have different signs and symptoms. Oh, I have a background in immunology. I think there are multiple strains. I mean, it makes sense. So my father-in-law was tested 3 times. They all came back negative. They hospitalized him and finally found double pneumonia. So the test that I had was free, and I went to a university medical center to get this free test. And I thought, because they said it's fast results, it was going to be a swab. And it wasn't. It was that weird one where they put the swab like way back in your nose. And I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. And all over the net, you see, people making statements, doctors and hospitals and other people saying that the test that I had is not very reliable, that there are a lot of false positives and false negatives, and it's dangerous, and that people really shouldn't be doing that test at all. And I thought, great. It's too late for me now, but why is there not an easy, quick test? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a big, rich country with lots of resources. We should be on top of this stuff. All right, so my in-laws are eating pretty healthy and are pretty active. He's diabetic and has bad asthma. He'll be 83 on Monday. My brother-in-law and his family had it. They had flu-like symptoms. Okay, random question. How do you store coffee and how long will it last? I would think the ideal way to
Cool,
store
dark, and
coffee
dry.
is the way you store a lot of things: cool, dark, and dry. And how long will it last? I have no idea. At least a year, I would think. Been checking the small group of genetics I personally know about. The COVID-19 seems to be targeting certain genomes. I heard that too. And certain blood types. I know this much about the one that I had. I really don't know where I got it. And you all know that I would wear a mask. And I hand sanitized until my skin is, what do you call it?
What?
Very dry. Can you close that door?
Yeah.
That one? Thanks, honey. And I tried to social distance from people, but the week around Thanksgiving, I was very active. There were a lot of people coming and going, and I had been in town and everything else, and I still don't know exactly who I got it from. And with the symptoms this mild,
Grandkids, I blame the grandkids.
I don't even know if that person knew that what they had was COVID, because I don't know how many people actually bother to get tested. If you had symptoms as mild as mine, you might assume, like I did until I got tested, that you just have a cold. I mean, the number one thing I noticed was fatigue. I suddenly got tired and I was achy, and that was not normal. But if you've had a cold before, I thought it might have been a sinus infection, because you get achy, and I actually had a little sensitivity to sunlight too. And that's something that you get with a sinus infection. So I wasn't sure what was going on with me. I just was tired. And then a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of a runny nose, not even close to seasonal allergies, the runny nose. Not even close to a sinus infection runny nose. Or the influenza A that Pastor and I had a year ago. Horrible runny nose then, and no fever. I had no fever. So with these piddling little symptoms, I really wasn't very concerned about my own health. Like, I'm not feeling extremely ill. And my daughter said, well, she's talking to people on the phone every day who have the virus, and my symptoms were exactly what they described. So she said, Mom, you should go get tested. And so I thought, all right, I will do that thing. I will go get tested. And like I said in the video today, and I am going to look at your comments. You guys are probably yeah. Shalom, Scotty John. It's all fear-mongering, says Norm. Mother-in-law tested positive, but doesn't have any symptoms. They got a vaccine that's quick, but don't know if there are multiple strains. I mean, obviously some big companies are working on that vaccine, but who's working on to find out how many strains there are? Everyone we know who has passed from it all suffer from diabetes, and it is a family trait.
Comment.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, so we're way beyond this. Long Q-tip, took about 2 hours to get the results. Project's very serious about keeping its people from getting it. Okay. There's Crazy Canuck. Shalom. I'm glad you had mild symptoms. I thought COVID wasn't supposed to produce mucus. Maybe it doesn't. I've read a research paper that said common cold is one of 4 coronaviruses, but they aren't COVID-19. The test may pick up anything that is corona, right? So maybe it is a cold. But I isolated myself, which is good. I didn't want to give whatever I had to anybody. As soon as I knew for sure I had something, I isolated myself. No sworn test made from any expert, no basis of science for mandates. Most rules are not created by a doctor. Send out a prayer request that should blow up your email. It's what I do. These are giving opinions, nothing sworn in, no accountability. Okay, right. And, so many different doctors saying so many different things. So that's why I wanted to just let you know what my experience was like, so I'm not faking it. Also, that I wore a mask in public and I used hand sanitizer a lot. So even with the precautions I took, I caught it from somebody. And so in my mind, what that means is not so much that it's a failure, because I could have gone out in full body stuff and completely locked down like we had done earlier in the summer, but our particular area didn't have a whole huge amount of cases. So I was not expecting to run into people who had it. A huge county, and we only had, 14,000 cases over the whole county. But mainly what we treated ourselves with, and what he's still treating himself, is rest, a lot of fluids, a lot of tea. I drank all kinds of tea. I drank echinacea tea. I drank mango, ginger, what else? Lemon tea, vitamin C enriched tea, natural teas, clover tea, peppermint tea, tea that I added apple cider vinegar and honey and turmeric and cinnamon to. We drank a lot of soup. I made soup at least 3 or 4 times. C19 is the flu, only it's on steroids. I think that's right. That's my opinion, Carmen. PJF elderberry for esteemed elder C and D. Now, we had heard of elderberry. We have elderberry tincture, and my daughter-in-law had given me a COVID-specific tincture. And I found that drinking the tincture, the alcohol would just knock me out. I was also gargling with brandy in the morning because I read the reports about the mouthwash being able to kill the COVID. And I thought, okay, a mouthwash. Alcohol's pretty strong, so I would gargle with it. And I gargled with it a couple of days, and it would just knock me out. So the first first 3 or 4 days, I really was, between the tincture and the hen gargle and just the illness itself, I was really sleepy, and I just laid down most of the time. Also lost my sense of taste and smell. And I guess around 7 to 10 days into this thing, if you have the respiratory, that's when it starts getting really bad. And so we were told by the state, did you say Canadian whiskey and raw honey in strong coffee? It will cure anything. 7 to 10 days. That's why the state said, if for some reason you have trouble breathing, just go to the hospital or call 911. Like, don't mess around. And like the Spanish flu, that would have been the storm, as they call it, cytokine storm, of your body trying to fight off whatever is attacking your lungs. And COVID-19, one of the virus strains attacks the lung lining. And so people get a lot of, blood serum filling in the lungs, and the lungs are susceptible to pneumonia. They're a warm, moist place, and there are bacteria that love to grow in enclosed, warm, moist places. So I was specifically trying to, keep on top of that. But I feel like probably not going to be coughing, and so we probably weren't going to develop the respiratory part. And as you've heard with Pastor, he's a little more up. I also was dealing with the runny nose that I had. Warm, moist place equals a mask. And there's a difference between it and an interior. There are that love to live in sunlight, in what is that? Old Faithful. Yellowstone. Yellowstone has all the geysers. There are bacteria that live in those geysers. They love the sunlight and the heat and the moisture. There are other bacteria that hate sunlight, and so if you expose them to sunlight, they die. And the pneumonia is one of those that wants to be in a dark interior place, not in your mask, but inside your body. So I controlled the nasal stuff in the beginning with a Zicam, which is a zinc-based cold treatment. And we had the swabs, and so you're basically just putting some sort of zinc and probably a saline solution or something in your nose, and then it's stops your nose from running. It's an allergy treatment, really, but they also have cold treatments, and it worked pretty good. Every 4 hours, I would use one of those. My nose wouldn't run very much. I didn't have a lot of drainage, and I didn't cough. Also, the thing about me, hey, Biddy, look, Biddy. Hey, look. Look what I got here, Miss Biddy Boo. Wait, here it is. Can you see it? Oh, see if I can turn it this way. Maybe you can see it better this way. Can you see that, Miss Biddy? Well, I opened it, a package at the beginning of my show. I'm not doing a good job of that. And there it is. I got my hoodie. Yay! I got my hoodie, ma'am. It's my first new hoodie of the season. I am very excited. I found an awesome elderberry gummy with zinc and vitamin C. It's expensive, but it works. Andrea, I'm sure it probably does. I think that would probably work just great. Anyway, we took vitamin C and vitamin D and zinc every day. We would take those as well as the tea and the soup that I would make homemade. They are heavy, aren't they? Yeah, this is good quality. This is going to help keep me warm. All right. So, right around day 7, I couldn't taste a certain anything, and sense of smell was gone too. And I would cook things like chicken soup with real chicken stock and lots of vegetables in it, and it would look delicious. And when I ate it, I couldn't tell it from sandpaper, from cardboard. It was so frustrating. But I didn't let that stop me. We ate pretty regularly while we were sick, even resting. We're sitting here talking about supplements, and I still need to take mine. It's hot in here. The fire I'm by is about 1,500 Fahrenheit. Yeah, buddy, you're in there. We warm the house up, and we get that big wood stove going at about 450, and it warms the whole house, so I can imagine. Woo! $175 for 5 days. What are you gonna hunt when you're up here, Wes? What's that gonna pay for? Elderberry syrup, but I was sick and desperate. I would check out the ingredients. Well, there you go. And then about 3 days ago, I started to get my taste buds back a little, and tonight we ate some roast with some potatoes and some green beans, and I could almost taste everything. I had ketchup and horseradish with it, and it's like half flavor of the horseradish and the ketchup. I will just run something over. Luna Jardine, that was the same effect it had on us. Food with no taste is not pleasing. So Luna, did you have COVID? Is that what you're saying? Soups and teas are always warming and nice when you don't feel good. Exactly. And I feel like with the different teas that I have that with, natural things that I picked myself and dried, and also the teas that I buy. I'm putting good stuff in my body. Now, a tea is not a very concentrated. Are y'all still there? We got a little circulating. What do you? Carnauba wax. Wow. Whoa, you guys said a lot of things. Yes, we is back. I'm lagging. There is Bree. And there is Brandy. Shalom, shalom. Good. I'm glad you guys are still there. I just added multivitamin for women over 50. A little depressed about the last one. You'll get over that, Lynn. I don't know what's wrong with my service. I've just been disconnected 3 times. All right. Wow, I am lagging way behind. Garlic, chili, and ginger. Exactly. It may have, but he brought home some hair and the fender and the bumper. What? 5x0. Thank you, Redneck Prepper. X taking temperature. That's right. As soon as she shot talking, I haven't done talking. So, what is up with you all? Water and and stuff like that for all the critters, because we've had some pretty ugly weather here and it's a muddy mess. We are bottle feeding our baby goats. What? What is your best advice with goats? Okay. What kind of advice goat-wise do you need independent preparedness? If you bottle feed them, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You do that about 8 weeks. You increase the amount of food you give them every day by a couple of ounces. So you're peaking at about 4 weeks with 14 ounces per goat, 14 to 16. And then the last 3 weeks, you go back down to like from 16 to 14 ounces, and then 14 to 12, and then 12 to 10, and then you get down to around 4. And by week 8, they are weaned. What other advice do you need? Y'all on the mend. Have a blessed evening. Got my car inspected today. Ooh, no fun. Watched the doctor chop a chunk off my wife today. It was kind of cool. What did you chop? Bottle limbs. They're all good but noisy. They are noisy and they can be kind of pushy. Female goats coddle them, but males feed. Finishing my niece's knife sheath. What are you making it out of, Scotty John? Just made the biggest chef salad in the world and ate it. We haven't had salad in a while, but I try to have greens all the time. And I harvested some cabbage leaves out of the garden to put in one of our salads. And I had a mustard. Father-in-law went back into the hospital today. He came home too early. Lamp keeper says. Scotty's making it out of Kydex. Awesome. All out spinach, lettuce, cheese, heavenly. Yeah, I haven't had a salad in a while. And I hello, brother. Thanks for stopping by. It's easy to work with in leather. Excellent. Male goats made a big out of turn mean once they hit rut. Is why I say just feed them and leave them alone. Oh yeah, Betty's talking about when you bottle feed them with something metal. And they learn that I'm the bigger goat, and so they don't always challenge me. I've had 2 billion. The other ones I have now, he gets really aggressive towards me at times. So my daughter takes he around her. But yeah, bottle fed babies get kind of pushy. Thanks, Northwest Arkansas Prepper. Never tried goats. Cook with it like cow's milk. They're different. We don't drink much milk anymore. So hey, a fresh goat a lot likes cow's milk, and yes, you can cook with it. One of the things I like to do when I have it is cheese, because you can make a lot of different cheeses with goat milk. Goats stink. They absolutely do. They get really squirt on themselves, and it's really funky, but that's it's like. We're live. Goat milk is superfood. Now, I have heard some people say heavy metal blood poisoning, that goat milk helped clean their blood out. It is very nutritious and it's easy to digest. Lynn made potato soup. Yum. Goat's milk is great for those of us that are lactose intolerant. Exactly. And you can make soap from goat's milk. And I already mentioned cheese. Yeah. Waiting on results for the wife. She may be 19. Oh man, how is she doing, Mark? How are her symptoms? Does she have a fever? Goat's milk, it's really milk was not super sweet, but I still enjoyed the taste of it. There is Randall Davison. Put her in the barn. Of course. I love potato soup. Okay. Thank you for the advice. Shalom. Shalom. Okay. There we go. And I'm back. What do you put in your pepper potato soup? I forgot to mention that, Pastor, you guys probably already knew that, though. Where did she get exposed, Mark? Where do you think she's delicious? Look at that. Talking about food. Don't we always? Food is so important. I made boar beet soup. It's really quite good, and my daughter said it was yummy because she could taste it, but we couldn't taste it. Thanks, ladies. What does not kill you makes you stronger. Generally speaking, Norm, I agree. Yeah. Buffering. I put cabbage in mine, but I'm out of cabbage. Yeah, that's the cabbage I got out of the garden. And Luna Jardine, yes, you guys had COVID-19. So yours was the mild stuff too. We usually just have crusty bread with it. That would be yum. Can you?
Oh, if only you had a husband who loved you.
The hubby made meatloaf and mashed taters tonight since he was off work all day. Love coming home to food already made. Yes. Froze my cabbages, and it made unstuffed cabbage rolls out of one cabbage, and it was awesome. Okay, Paula Joe, that's good information. Even though the fever's gone, watch for pneumonia since she is still coughing. The hubby, oh, that's right. The beef bacon was too sweet. We put beef jerky in the potato soup. Tastes great. Okay. My cabbage is still growing, sub-zero. That's the thing. The cabbage that I harvested was a smaller head. There were 3 of them that grew up. After I cut the main head off of the stalk, I left it. And that stalk started to grow 3 smaller cabbages on it. And they 3 frosts and was still green. So cabbage is really cold hardy. I made a cabbage casserole tonight. It was pretty good. And cabbage is good for you. We call it kaputza soup. Oh, that's funny. There's Okie Storm and Chaser in the chat from Oklahoma, man. You just drive this poor chat crazy. I love having dinner. Oh, we already said that. Shalom, Pastor Joe Fox. At a standstill. I make my own jerky. It is super easy to do. Old man and Steve Wilson. Shalom. All my cold plants were buried under snow, and when the sun came out, they're doing fine. There you go. Kale, I bet you meant. I love deer jerky. I'd rather clean a toilet than do the dishes. I kind of tend to let mine stack up for a couple of days, and then I do them all at once. But it's more convenient with that big stove because if it's on, then that water container, if I've got water in it, it's heating the water up. And so I don't have to do the separate, put water in a pot and then heat it up. And just for y'all's edification, when we take a bath, we don't dump the water out. We leave it in the tub. We throw all our dirty clothes in there, put some soap on it, use a plunger on it. That's how we wash clothes. Recipe from Linda Gant on YouTube, hun. It's super easy. But homemade teriyaki chicken and fried rice for dinner. Ooh, I've had your teriyaki chicken. It's pretty good. I have a dishwasher and still hate doing the dishes. Yum. Okay, Storm Chaser. Shalom, Sister Kate, and everyone. Susan Bryant. Shalom. It's still breathing. It's still twitching. All right. So Luna Jardin, I was waiting for an answer from you, and I wanted to know. He's got a new puppy, and he's kind of the boss right now. What did I miss? What kind of puppy did you get? Does anyone else know anybody else who has COVID, who had a positive test and was sick in some way? Found a delicious, easy recipe, sweet and sour cauliflower, very healthy compared to the chicken. Nice. A lot of buffering is all we've missed so far. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law have COVID, says Paula Joe. Both my parents had it a couple of weeks ago. Okie, I kind of remember you talking about that, but I don't remember the details. Was it mild for them or serious? Stepson's grandfather was hospitalized with it. Do you mind talking about the symptoms, Lamp Keeper? They ended up in the hospital, and Mom is still on oxygen at home. My sister got COVID along with pneumonia, bacterial. Wait a minute. Biddy, you are in charge. I must go save the planet now. Wes, thanks for dropping by. My sister got COVID along with pneumonia, bacterial, 3 rounds of antibiotics. Wow. Randall Davidson, did your sister have any pre-existing conditions? I can add them to the WGW prayer list. Nice. My sister-in-law is back at work, but brother-in-law developed glass lungs from it. Paula Joe, can you tell me what that is? I cook several servings of rice and use it in different ways all week, even rice for breakfast with cinnamon and raisins and warm milk. Patricia Wolf, that sounds delicious. I made that for myself last winter, and it was so good, and I would even eat that cold, and I couldn't understand what exactly it was about that rice with the milk and the cinnamon and everything, but it was just so tasty. I should do it again. A young woman I know in our town has it. 0 symptoms. Okay, Susan, that sounds like me. Dad was coughing up bloody phlegm. Oh, wow. That his lungs were really, really stressed. No, she and her husband both got it. He was over it in 3 to 4 days. Took her a couple of weeks. Wow. Glass lungs is kind of like popcorn lung. The alveoli in the lungs freezes and stops working, making it very hard to breathe. Okay, Paula Joe. I understand that now. See, that kind of symptom is, a lot of people have that respiratory symptom, but Pastor and I, as far as I know, he still has his cough, but it didn't seem like it was in his lungs. His cough seems to be in his bronchial tubes, like drainage dripping down in them, him coughing from that. But I listened to his lungs and they were all clear last time. He developed blood clots in his lungs. He is also diabetic. Wow, Lamp Keeper. Just got a call from Katybug School, and now several high schoolers have tested positive. Biddy Boo, I'm telling you, it's so easy to pass around. I'm not surprised. I hope you're doing okay, says Okie's boss. I'm doing good. I'm on the mend. I went out and shopped and did my chores today. The weather's also much better. I tried not to go outside so much on the days when it was really cold around here, because that cold air will also irritate like your nasal passages and your bronchial passages. Leanne has been giving us weekly updates on WGW. We will keep him in our prayers. And on the WGW, Midwest City gave my mom antibody serum, and it got her on the mend and out of the hospital after a few days. Okay, it's interesting that you say that, because I was asked if I was willing to do that. And I thought about it, and I'm not sure if I'm willing to do that or not because when I go to the Red Cross and try to donate blood, they won't take my blood because I was in England in 1980, and that's when Mad Cow was there. Nope, your drive's more than a day old. Why? Women's group wins. Going to send me a link to that, and I don't know that they ever did. Chasing Life was going to send me a link to that. Paula Joe, if you don't mind on Instagram, could you send me a link to that? People with diabetes are highly susceptible. And I'm wondering why, because diabetes isn't so much a blood disease, it is simply a ability to process sugar disease. Like your bile ducts are not producing what they're supposed to produce, and so your body's not getting the correct nutrition from it. So why would COVID really affect it? It's interesting. They didn't give it to Dad, and while Mom was in the hospital is when the bloody phlegm happened. He went to another hospital, and they did the serum treatment. Okay, good to know. I'm gonna try to refresh. Maybe it will let me come back. I'll also see if Sister K set up another live. Never mind, laugh out loud. Okay. Bacteria grows in day-old rice. If you left it out, if you put it in the fridge, I think you'd be okay. On the Bear Independent Patreon channel. It's a women's group for women that are Torah observant and are interested in being. And that's cool. Hospital twice for toe amputation. Oh my goodness, Jesus, that would scare me too. Gracious. Is that too bad? Wow, I think I'm lagging behind. Cough and fatigue in our 60s, good health and active. Aledwin, thank you for sharing that. Wow. Wow, Okie. Okay. There is this guy to refresh 3 times. Yeah, Patricia. I'm with you on that. Yeah, sorry it was all the buffering and stuff. It seemed like each time one of you Oklahoma types joined in, it would buffer. I'm just going to blame it on you all. I'm not going to take an action. Because I already said my piece in my last video. I thought it would come down to the Supreme Court. Refused to hear the case on whatever grounds there was. And Twitter is of, weird counting into time is running out. Diabetes wrecks the immune system, though, so infections are worse. Okay. All right. Well, that would explain it. That explains it. Wi-Fi signals dropping out are coordinated tonight. It's the bid, says Paula. I always get blamed for everything. I'm used to it. And you're usually not guilty of doing anything, Biddy. It still happens in the fridge, really. Because I eat a couple of day-old rice. I make fried rice out of it. Maybe because I recook it, it kills the germs again. All right, election. What do you guys think? Someone's got to be a scapegoat. That's right. It's because my problem, so she stays in. That's my cuz problem, so she stays in. The toe started because he stepped on a thumbtack in the yard with shoes on. Oh my goodness. Ouch. Here I am. Rain Cat Studio says, bless you, Sister Kate. Bless you, sister. Election, you guys. What are you thinking? I think KH will be the next president soon. Unfortunately, things are a-changing. I think she will too. I think if she is, things will change a lot. So we'll see what happens. President, because the Electoral College has already voted, and the inauguration's only a month away. Food science note, bacterial load doesn't typically cross the danger threshold until after 7 days. So long as the food is kept below 40, cooked food can stay between 40 to 60 up 4 hours. Exactly. Spirit is still calm, says Arthur. We shall see. Yeah, my spirit is calm. I had that moment where it just seemed like everything slipped the day before I got my results. Just like reality did a slip. And I thought, okay, Father, I will be ready for whatever is coming down the pike. And then the next day I got the positive results. But because the symptoms were so mild, it's no worse or better than when Pastor and I have gotten sick in the past. As a matter of fact, the influenza was worse. So we've been sick 2 Decembers in a row, which I find interesting. Might be naive, but I still hope for the best. I've also surrounded myself with people that are worth having around. I agree with Westhold. They'll find him incompetent if he doesn't have a mysterious illness or stroke. I think we're all screwed, said Sarah Hoskins. I try to get news from alternate sources. They give me hope. Biden should hire a food taster. 2 food tasters. I think it was stolen from Trump. That's what I think. Okay. Well, again, I tend to agree, and I went to Twitter again tonight, and the trending stuff on Twitter, where if you went 2 weeks before the election, were all about how horrible Biden or Trump was, and what is so messed up about this country, and reiterating over and over and over again how many people have died from COVID and how it's all this administration's fault. There's nothing on Twitter like that right now. It is ridiculous what is trending. It's not even something really stupid like Kim Kardashian, accidentally whatevered. It is video game stuff that I don't even know anything about because I don't care about video games, and sports stuff. Some basketball player did this or some football player did that, and that's the top 20 on trending on Twitter. Well, I'm telling you, pre-election, it was all hatred for Trump. Post-election, nothing. Crickets. Blip, blip, blip. That tells you there was a concerted effort. There was a, not a conspiracy, but just a joint effort of everyone on Twitter. And I'm talking multiple different accounts just blasting Trump and the administration. Just negative comment after negative comment, and lots of people piling on and saying, yeah, Trump's an orange-haired freak. He's an alien. He's an egotist. He's a this. He hasn't done anything for COVID, which was a flat-out lie. And just overwhelming the negativity on there. And now nothing. It's really so obvious. I mean, I'm just a housewife and I could see it. And that's what makes me think something happened. Bread and circuses, says Randall Davidson. That's possible. I was mega sick last December. Went to the hospital, took about 2 weeks, and then was okay. We were mega sick. Someone else in our congregation told us they were mega sick. And that person was on the opposite side of the country last December. She was on the West Coast. We were in the middle. 103 fevers, horrible coughing, so bad couldn't even breathe. The fevers knocked us out for days on end, just miserable, laying in bed with influenza A. And then this, I'm thankful that I got a mild version of it, and I'm trying to stay away. I don't want the serious version. I was mega sick December, February. See? Okie Storm Chaser. And we did not hang out together that December, I don't think. We all think we got it from going to a restaurant in a nearby city, because 4 out of 5 of us, who ate at that restaurant that night were really sick within a couple of days. And influenza A and B were going around our area at that time. And people were supposed to be looking out for them. Oh, this is a warm hoodie, Biddy. Bonfire, you did a good job. I can't wait until I get my other one. Just a housewife. You keep an eye on everything and run the house and take care of everyone, said Jesus. Probably was COVID, Okie Storm Changer. At what stage of recovery are you not contagious? Okay, so what I was told, Mark, is I could come out of isolation either 24 hours after I had a fever, which I didn't ever have a fever, so that didn't apply to me, or 10 days after my first symptoms showed up. That's what they told me. Okay, I'm back again. Not sure what my puppy got into, but man, this is coming out. Sorry for anyone grossed out by that. Lynn, what kind of puppy? Nope, I wasn't with you all that night, nor was I around any of y'all till Marchish. That's what I thought, Okie. So what did we all pick up? Have you upped your vitamin intake? Biden could not get hired as a shelf stacker in China. Mark. Norm, you're pretty adamant about that. Since your diagnosis, or kept it the same. Susan Bryant, we upped it. But see, I wasn't taking vitamins on a daily basis normally. I try to get my vitamins through the kind of food we eat. Excuse me. But Pastor had been taking C and D for a while. And so we both are taking C, D, and zinc. Biden is a Willard. I thought, no. Now my dog wants to go out. I guess I better let him out. I won't get off. I'll just let him out and then come back and sit down. So you all talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Right. So what do you think is going to be the biggest change with the presidential change? What do you think Biden's going to try to do in his first 100 days? Because Trump made a big deal out of everything he did. He worked on all kinds of projects, including the wall and the economy and the VA and all sorts of stuff, and fixing bad trade deals and so on. The hubby wants verification that only married women wear head coverings. Okay, lamp keeper. Head coverings are totally cultural, which means they are not commanded in the Bible. So it is up to your conviction. What is the Holy Spirit telling you? And also what your husband feels like. If your husband doesn't want you to wear a head covering, then don't wear a head covering. Because it's Paul who said, I would that a woman's head were covered. But Paul is not God. Paul is an apostle. And so he doesn't get to make commands. That's only Yahweh's job. And so if you feel convicted to wear a head covering and your husband doesn't mind, then wear a head covering. But if your husband doesn't want you to, then please your husband. He is the head of your household. He is your number one authority. Goes you, him, then Yeshua. And Yeshua never said you have to wear a head covering. Neither did Yahweh. So, there. I hope that helps you. We've been knife-handed to not be a Willard. Is that something? Yeah. Okay. Where is PJ? I haven't heard him say words so far that isn't like him. He retired and is probably watching a movie or something. He said he would not interfere in this live stream. Because sometimes he gets a little loud and he kind of takes over it. Well, I know one thing for sure. Ammo prices aren't going to go down, right? Ammo, if they start to try to do more gun control, gun laws, which Democrats often do, they don't normally make huge changes, but they'll say something like, okay, where last week 30 round magazines were legal. This week we only want 10 round magazines. And so everyone who has a 30 round magazine is made a criminal overnight, and it's very inconvenient. Or, like Western Forge says, if they try to tweak the ammunition, everybody's going to buy the ammunition. It's going to be in a shortage. Something else we heard was that they just had purchase limits. He approves and it's just for me. Raincat Studio. Perfect. I know the why and didn't wear them until I found out the why. He was iffy at first, but now loves it. Okay. In Scotland, all working women wore headscarves until the early 60s. I mean, I think it was a cultural thing in the 60s. Many women wore little scarves or hats or whatever. Lining up at the border, waiting to cross illegally. It's going to have Massachusetts like gun restrictions. If they do, then what normally happens, like under Obama, a bunch of people went out and bought more guns. It didn't lessen the amount, it upped it when the government put controls on it. And there's 10,000 firearm laws, maybe more in America now. So why do we need any more? It doesn't help crime. My family is rotating and taking homemade fire cider. Okay, elderberry syrup, cod liver oil, different forms of vitamin C, chlorophyll, zinc, and other herbal concoctions, fresh air and sunshine. How are they doing? K Gray 7. Good dog. K Gray 7, warrior family positive for COVID, and is that helping? Okay. ATF is going to let off the chain a little. Pistol braces will for sure get banned. Okie Storm Chaser, we've heard that too. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Under one administration, those things are perfectly fine. Under another one, they're not fine. It's kind of confusing and it's kind of a waste of time. Watched a video on the benefits of vitamin D. Biden wants to tax rifles and mags and use ATF guidelines. Raincat also sounds perfect. Sent to jail for disobeying the law. 3 hots and a cot without working all day is a bonus. State rep in North Texas wants guns banned, says the criminals only use them to get people to do what they say, and less people would be hurt if people didn't have guns. I live in North Texas. Hey, Suze, I hope that doesn't pass. I believe they will reverse everything. No Furby Wax. Hello, Sister Kate and all in chat. I hope y'all are feeling better. I am definitely recovering. I've got most of my taste back. I've got my energy back. Pastor is still kind of in it, and so he's just resting. Show him many topics. Gotta say goodnight. Good night, Patricia Wolf. What really bothers me is we have worked our butts off to pay for our land and such. I worry they will try to take it away from us. Right? That would be super annoying if they did anything with land taxes or just taxes in general going up. And what I've noticed over the years is Democrats tend to raise taxes and Republicans tend to cut taxes, generally speaking. Now, there are exceptions, I'm sure. And it is also in pastors' retirement pay. We see, I was just going to say, with some administrations, we see no raise or anything like that at all.
Talk about money.
Okay. Democrats like to spend the money. Democrats like to do things like bail out banks and huge corporations that made stupid decisions and spend our tax money to help those corporations, and it's crazy. Okay. Oh my. Nice, Arthur. It's difficult to feed the husband and daughter with real food. They are from Missouri, you know, right? Meat and potatoes. It's Norm out. Be safe. All right. Bless you, Norm. Thanks for dropping by. Mountain lion shot a few miles from my farm, thinking I need a gun to protect my sheep. A lead one you probably do, and maybe a big dog. Coastal 151, shalom. If they do take the guns, I'll be okay. I'm forging my son a Crusader-style sword tonight. That's funny, but not funny. I agree, because swords are pretty gruesome weapons. I would rather be shot, I think, than have a sword cut through me. Okay. Oregon Berry here, praying for you too. Thank you so much. Most fiascos start with a democratic law that wasn't fully thought through. Well, I won't disagree with that. I think I said pretty much what I meant in my video about stability and instability. I can see a lot more instability coming because the people who are in positions of power right now want that instability. And so the way for a believer is to keep your faith, is to hang on to the stability of the Father's way, because he doesn't change it. And so it's very easy to see it and to stick with it. People in Texas are tired of paying taxes to keep democratic cities afloat while they continue poor policy and play loose with tax money. That's too funny. Well, that's another thing that Democrats do. Look at Detroit. Look at Chicago. They take tax money and they squander it. They don't make sure the water's drinkable. They don't make sure that you have the amenities you need to live in a city. And people get disenfranchised and they leave. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Portland. Portland's going to become a wasteland because they're just allowing rioting right, left, and center. No business or people are going to want to live there. I don't want to live where there's riots every night. This is instability, and it's just stressful. It's no good. Uh-oh. What's emerging from the darkness back there? There you go, Bitty Boo. There he is. She said shalom and hope you feel better. Got 210 pounds of rice, working on beans, need more taco seasoning though. Hello from the Adirondack. Hello, EE. Glad you are looking better. Thank you. Yep, I think we've come through pretty easily compared to some of the stories of other people on this live stream whose relatives and so on have had a really hard time with it. We have been very lucky. Blessed. So do y'all have plans for the new year? What is your springtime going to start looking like? Hey, Bama Buckeye. Oregon Berry says he's west of Portland, and it's real. Tell me the last time you were in Portland, Oregon. Alaska keeps looking better and better. But the winters, though. I do, but I have to make things simple for others in case something happens to me. Praying over my children every day, try not to let the fear creep in about what the future may hold for them. Well, that's wise, too. You don't want them to be so afraid that they don't want to grow up. 5 days off in a row is going to be great. There you go. Seedlings starting for spring and plans to expand gardens this new year. Excellent, No Furby's Wax. We've got plans to change the garden the way we do our beds. And whenever Pastor's ready, we'll get started on that. Excuse me, we were just talking about increasing our goat herd because we've had an offer from a brother who's will be able to go buy goats at a reasonable amount of money, which means we have to put in more fencing. And that was something I was going to do today when I went out, but I just ran out of energy. I just did, we had a list of stuff, and I got about 2/3 of the way through the list, and just, that was it. So came home and unloaded all of that, and some of it's got to go in the pantry and so on. But tomorrow I plan on getting more fence panels to increase the power. Reading the scriptures and getting myself right with the Father, along with more preparation, is what I have planned for 2021. Sounds like a good plan, Super Beast. My daughter lives right on the Washington border in Portland. I live way forward in the northwest corner of Washington State, out in the rural areas. You're in a good location, Rain Cat. It's a pretty state. Want to grow a lot, but my landlord doesn't like me growing anything. Hey, Suze, are you renting then? Michael, let's just keep the grindstone and get fencing done and a barn for the critters. That sounds about like what I hope to get accomplished. Pastor and the Millennial Man are talking about wanting to build a barn. That would be great. I sure would like to get the greenhouse ready. I've been saying that for like 5 years, and I still haven't gotten around to it. I'm not ready to start planting, but I am ready to start doing things to the garden beds. Like when that big stove needs the ashes cleared, I throw them out on the garden. Okay. I drove through this week. Our family business is in Portland. Oh my goodness. So what did it look like? Due to PCSing this year, so only growing in containers and no new chickens this year. Doing what you can until we find out where we are headed. I know exactly what that feels like, and you're right, you just can't do anything, Kay Gray, until you know what's next. Our goats need electric fencing or they destroy the fence. Raincat, I use cattle panels, and so they can like put their feet up on it and do that, but they're strong enough that they don't, you know, regular field fencing, when the goats stand on it, they push it down and it ends up wrecking the fence. But if you use cattle panels, they're very stiff. I have a good group that came out of Viking meetups, and we are planning to grow things together for everyone collectively. No fur beeswax, that sounds like a great idea. E. Healy said he doubled the size of the garden. Are you going to make a cattle panel greenhouse, Oregon Bounty? We already have made that. We just need to wrap it and put ends on it. BC powders. I cannot wait to start planting again. Most of my garden was ruined due to the wildflowers fires. Oh, Sarah Hoskins, I'm so sorry. Mine was usually ruined by bugs, but I've got plans this year. They're in an apartment. We need to get some space where we can do what we need to. It's slow going, but we aren't stopping. Well, there you go. That's the right attitude. 2 containers. Bought a little greenhouse from Tractor Supply. I think it is 6x8, but for $30, I was like, I will try it. For $30, I should get one too, Biddy. That's a good price. Westsold wants and needs goats. Have you been able to talk to the people down the street from you yet? I think I know who they are, and they look like they have more than just a couple, and it would be great. Either that or try an auction. There's lots of auctions in the area. Fallujah. Portland looks like Fallujah in parts, right? Who wants to live in that? It's a 4-foot-high cattle panel, enough to keep goats in. Yes, Westfield Forge, it is, at least for these pygmy goats, and it was for my alpine goats. They didn't tend to jump over it most of the time. But the pygmies are too small, so yeah, it works. Come out of her, my people. I can hear. Pastor Joe, yes, he came in, got a water, and went out. Agree. We put the wrong kind up. Too big of a hole. One young goat was found strangled. We learned a lesson the hard way. Yeah, that would stink. Our baby goats go in and out, which could be not a good thing. But generally at night when the predators are around, they're in with the mama. We're being told to go to Arkansas, lamp keeper. But now we have to deal with father-in-law having beginning stages of dementia. Wow, that's tough. Our pond doubled in size and depth this summer when it was dry. Expect good volume with spring runoff. That would be great. As long as you do not have something close for them to jump on and jump out. I fought there. Iraq. We keep considering a greenhouse that Deep South recommended, but my concerns are the storms here. 2 gazebos have flown through the sky. I'd hate to see a greenhouse fly. It's true, Susan Bryant. I mean, it'd be terrible if you got it all set up and it got destroyed too. I left a note, but no one ever got a hold of me. Hair sheep. No shear, easy on fences. They have like 40 goats at least. Oh my gosh. We had Nubian goats growing up, and they were climbers. And Nubians are a bit bigger. What type are you looking for? Oh, Biddy, the goat connection. My neighbor's preparedness partner will be prepping a good-sized garden spot on his family's old homestead that we both live next to. Excellent, Arthur Leslie. Yes, we have hair sheep and Nubians. We have painted desert sheep. No, for these thing, are Nubians meat or dairy goats? They're dairy goats for sure. NWA. Never seen a painted desert sheep. Thinking of trying a cheap homemade one that wouldn't hurt my feelings as bad. Exactly, Susan Bryant. Make it out of PVC pipe. Cover it with some plastic. If it gets blown away, no biggie. Nubians are definitely dairy. I have not ever seen a Nubian big enough to be edible, Rain Cat. Not the ones I've seen have been really skinny. Nice to have a crew around close when you get sick and need a little help with firewood, feeding animals, etc. Exactly. We have butchered several. Were they Weathers? The ones that you butchered? Excuse me. Because Boers are good meat goats. Nice and what do you call it? The Kikos, the one that Biddy Boo's had, are meat goats too. Off-grid on 400 acres, he will start raising sheep next year. He is a prepper. That's an excellent neighbor to know, EE. Ours are large. Ours were fairly good size, yes, and a doe. Some of ours are Boer cross. Well, there you go. See, Weathers are going to put on weight more than I think, like a doe would, and won't be as stinky and nasty as the Billies. I think times are coming where we will have to take care of one another more and more. Sister Kate gonna get unfroze, or do we have to refresh? You guys can't see me or hear me because I can see and hear you. The Weathers were the best. 6-shooter. Hey, how's it going? 6-shooter, did you see all that information I sent you about that canner? Running fine. I can see and hear. Refresh. Good. Good. Yay. 5x5. Loud and clear. What are those South American goats with the long ears that can dance to disco music? Aren't Nubians the one with the long ears? Hey, Marlo. Shalom. Yes, thank you. I have been cleaning on it. It's aluminum, right? 6-shooter. So how are you cleaning that? Are you just using like a scrub thing or one of those green cloth things? They are long. Those are the goats I need for entertainment purposes. I'm telling you, goats are entertaining. Any of the varieties. There's always a goof or baby goats. Oh my gosh. The baby goats we have now, the ones that were born a little bit earlier, have their winter fur, and they're short little stocky goats, and they're almost round because their fur is sticking out, and when they walk it's like they're wearing big how do you describe it, like leather pants or something, like really bushy pants when their legs walk. It's hard to describe it. It's cute as a button. Baby goats are awesome to watch. See, Biddy, West left and no buffering. It wasn't you. Aw. But I do love to watch chickens and goats. So do I. There's something about it. I use a light sandpaper and a wheel that is made like Scotch-Brite on my drill. All right. It was Wes that caused it. He's a troublemaker. Well, just be careful with it, 6-shooter. You don't want to change the conformation of it that much, because the body of it and then the lid over top of it have to meet inside, and without a gasket, that's got to be a really tight matchup right there. So just be careful while you're cleaning it. But that thing's worth a lot of money right now. Yes, there she is. Hey, Lynn, welcome back. Do any of the other you guys have canners? Because 6shooter 92 on Instagram, I think he has a YouTube channel too, had just posted about an old All-American canner that his grandmother had, and then his mother hadn't really used it, and so he had found it again and was redoing it. So like the little brother getting a snow gear on in the movie A Christmas Story. Yep, I have 3 All-Americans and 1 Presto. Yeah, see, I just got... Pastor bought me an All-American, and the first time I tried it, I did the seal, but the thing I was heating it up on, that little camp stove, is not level. And so the top wasn't quite level, and there was some steam escaping from one side, which I don't normally like, but it still managed to get up to pressure and do the canning that I needed it to. And then the second time I used it, and I put the olive oil around it like I'm supposed to, it didn't leak. Got to go take care of the wife. Thanks for the chat. Hey, love you too. C103, my prayers are for your wife, and I hope she recovers. That's it for me. Thanks for the live stream. Good seeing you. Take it easy. I have 2 All-Americans that are older than me. So what, Biddy, how old is your oldest one? We have 3 canners, but 2 need parts. I found a huge old Presto for $30 that I rehabbed. Awesome. $30 is cheap. Yeah, that is true about that. I don't sand too hard, just knocking the dirt off. It's been sitting in a shed for years. Okay. Am I falling behind? Found it at a thrift store. There's Chasing Life. Shalom, sister. I didn't get a notification. Just came on YouTube to find something to listen to. How are you feeling? Thank you. We're feeling pretty good. I'm recovering. I'm kind of over the symptoms and stuff, and had a pretty normal day today. I have a new Miro. Mostly need jars at the moment, said Hey Suze. We need lids. I got some of the Tatler lids and love them. Tatler lids are good lids. Shalom. Over 60-year-old canner. So if you take that back, that's 19, you're going to make my brain have to work, 20, 80, 60. So 1960 may be the time, 6-shooter, that your All-American canner was new. Because, Biddy, do your old ones have the little pressure gauge, and it's a metal thing that goes up and down? Because on my Miros, it's a little piece of plastic. I have Presto and a Miro, and I do have a new All-American ordered. I really want the All-American for longer term, since don't have to worry about a gasket. Exactly. I agree with you. And my, I think mine's a Miro. The gasket I have is probably, and I don't want to exaggerate, 40 years old. and it does an okay job still. But what do you do when it's, you can't get a hold of one anymore? Judging by who I had, I think it was 60s or 70s. Yep. And when I did the research online and saw other people, even on the All American Canner website, their new book on how to use them and everything shows all their new models. But there was another advertisement down on the bottom that looked like it had canning stuff in it, and the one in that advertisement was the one you have, 6-shooter. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Air and a spare. Nice crowd here this evening. I worry about the gauges. Mine just has the jiggler. My Miro has a jiggler, and I'm more comfortable with the jiggler. I'm more used to a jiggler. But the All American has the gauge, and exactly right. Like, is the gauge going to last a long time? Hard to say. And what do you do when it's not on there anymore? I do have a couple of replacement gaskets for the Presto, but I'd still like to not have the gasket to worry about. Exactly, 6-shooter. Two of mine are so old, they have the metal wing nuts. Wow. The jigglers are rated and numbered. And what's the weirdest thing you've canned in your canner? Because for the longest time, what I used my canner for would be green beans or applesauce or something like that. And then this year, because of how things were going, we were given free a bunch of milk. And so my weirdest thing was canning that milk. I never had done that before, and it was the easiest thing to can too. I enjoyed that. And the second weirdest thing for me was the chicken that someone gave us, because I never had canned chicken before that. I'd done some raw pack canning of venison, but I'd never done chicken, and so that was just harder for me, and it took longer too, because you got to cook meat a really long time. Okay. Carp for my dad. Yuck. Ugh. I ordered a new gauge for this one for 16. I think it was allamericancanner.com. Good. I do need to get some more backup spare parts. I didn't even know you could. And then the little plastic pressure thing on my Miro popped off. It melted because I overcooked it or something. And my husband went online and just got a new jiggler and a new plug. And I'm like, wow, what a concept. There's actually ways to get extra parts right now. Got a food grinder for free today. My mother cleaned out her kitchen cabinets. Awesome lamp keeper. Is it one of the hand kind that you turn, or is it electric? All American as well, and I just love it. We did some ground beef recently, and it came out great. Well, there you go. I always can my goat milk. Interesting. I think you told me that, Biddy, and at the time I was thinking there's no way I'm going to can mine, but now I know. Chicken sausage I got on clearance, and butter's weird to can, right? I thought I was done, but I'm back. Westhold, do you can food? Nothing weird. Just canned up some venison this week. Awesome. Do not pickle cherry tomatoes. They are not palatable. I think one way to preserve tomatoes is to make them into a chutney or something like that. Ghee, I made my own and canned it. Thanks, Alaska Prepper. Good job, Paula. Some corn and some beans. It's a hand crank. I see applesauce in my future. Yes, the hand crank ones I like. Just because if, you don't have electricity, not a problem. I found sausage that I had canned about 2 years ago, was on the phone with my husband and said, "Oh my Torah." Yeah, because you can make sausage from many different meats. You do not have to make sausage from pork. Sausage is about the seasonings, not the meat. Hence, you can make venison sausage, you can make turkey sausage. But yes, if you make pork sausage, oh well, maybe you give it to the neighbor for their pet or something. Bitty Boo, little ones. Westsold wants little goats. To confess, and I think this might be blasphemous in this crowd, I haven't canned anything yet. Lynn, it's not blasphemous. Don't be afraid. Read your instructions. Get you a ball blue book and just try it. Get a bunch of green beans at the store and try it. I don't can, but I have a friend who has a freeze dryer that keeps it running 24/7. I'll just take her stuff. Yeah. We can garden stuff, but we recently started canning chicken. Good job, 6-shooter. Such Kate. I want you to know I enjoy and learn a lot from your videos and streams. I've followed PJ for a long time. You two have helped me grow more spiritually. Thank you. God bless. Ms. Linda, you're welcome. And thank you for your comments. Whatever the ones up the road drove me are. What in the world? Ground beef sausage is amazing. And think about it. Sausage, two main spices are pepper and sage. You can put that on anything. Carp sausage. No thank you. There you go. Pork, give it to the dogs. I've been searching flea markets, basements, and yard sales for an older, non-electric items for the past couple of years. You'd be surprised what kind of cool gadgets you can compile. Exactly. Apple peeler cores. We have a very old jar lid loosener that works great on any jar that's, here, try to open this. Put that sucker on there and just twist it. Takes it right off. Mechanical stuff is awesome. Can't stand homemade turkey sausage. Bitty Boo says they still eat pork. Pork is an abomination. It's forbidden in Leviticus 7. But to each person, you decide for yourself. I just made 20 pints of ghee and it all sealed before I could get it in the canner. Made a grilled cheese with it. Fabulous. I have a good source for hand tools. Because he makes them from scratch. All right, well, y'all, it's been an hour and a half. My throat is getting a little sore. I think I'd better get off the phone so I can get warm and horizontal. Start my evening rest. I've got a busy day tomorrow. I'll be going to the farm store, getting bedding and feed and stuff like that. Thank you, everyone, for dropping by. Excuse me. It's really good to see all of y'all. Thank you for sharing your stories of your COVID experiences, and I'm really sorry for your family members who are having a tough time of it. It's just another worry we don't need in a really, really weird year. Also, Bitty Boo's channel. Check her out if you're not already subscribed to her. She's got lots of earthy humor and wisdom, and is just the sweetest, nicest lady. Wow, that's awesome. Shalom. Shalom, y'all. K Gray 7, thanks for dropping in. Oregon Berry, shalom, bless you. I mean, hubby, we do not have as much as we used to. Awesome. If you're willing to pay, Layman's has tons of old style gadgets. They sure do, and they are pricey. Hope y'all are doing better. Thank you so much. Bless you all. All right, shalom.